I'm walking to White River to show the flooding on my farm. We've had some new developments today because our bank is going. So we've been watching about 10 trees come down, and so I wanted to show from earlier today. I am on White River right now. We own a big farm in Enumclaw, and we are just watching everything. I wanted to jump on and show that we have our bank right now. The last 12 hours is starting to go, so we have a bunch of trees that are going to be coming down. I wanted to jump on, and for anybody that has family in Washington or on White River, just show what it looks like, or answer questions as well. This is our big beach that we have. Usually this is all land, and then over here this is Red Creek, and it goes all the way down to our house. Our house is safe, and we're doing good down there, but right here it is pretty rough. I was going to walk down and show everyone that the bank is completely crumbling on our 30-acre farm. I want to be as safe as I can walking, so I'm going to be going through the woods, so it might be a little cumbersome, but this tree is leaning as of yesterday. I accidentally drove my quad down here. I looked down and saw the cracks, and then we've had 4 or 5 trees go overnight. In the last 15 minutes, we had one just fall in to the river. So all these trees all the way down are going to start going over the next day or two. If anyone has any questions, you can just send it to me in the chat, just because I'd love to answer any questions. It's been a long week. We had to move our animals to neighbors' houses, and our kiddos to friends' houses, and we're just tired. And the neighbors, we've all kind of rallied around each other, and the communities are just really doing a lot of connecting and helping each other, so I'm very thankful for that. For perspective, this land I'm standing on right now is King County. This is Enumclaw, and then we're looking over at the Buckley side. We're about 3 miles from the Buckley Bridge. So what we do is we measure the gauges on the dam website, plus we call and just speak directly to them, because we need to know before, we're 2 miles downstream from the dam, so we have to know if the big releases are coming. Right now, there's over 10,000 CFS coming down, and so that's a lot. And as you can see, I'm just going to be try to be careful. Usually I would go right up there, but right now it's it's just not the best to be walking this close. So I'm just gonna, I wanted to show, this morning I did a live and I showed the morning flooding. But at night they just turn the release on, and this is year round, not just right now. So I'm gonna be very careful and go very quick. This has opened up in the last few hours. So even right there, that's newer. So that's gonna go, and that's gonna take our whole bank down. Again, if anybody has any questions or anything, just send them through the chat so I can see, and I'll read as much as I can. And then all this was, I think we lost about 4 feet there. And tonight at midnight, so every night we get alerts from the county and from the dam that they just do releases. So we jump up, we hear the alerts, we jump up and we run out and we check within an hour, and just watch the water. We literally can watch the water increase in front of our eyes. So all that has been eaten away. This right here, this was like an hour or so ago. And this one is gonna go, probably not today, but it could be overnight. I'm just gonna go on the other side. This is my wife and I, we own this farm in Enumclaw, and we've put everything into it the last 3 years, and you know, we have been through a lot, and this is new. This is a little bit newer for us. I mean, we've had flooding and whatnot, but this side note, this is just on the edge right there, so I'm gonna keep going, walk as fast as I can. But yeah, our hearts are just kind of, you know, we're sad. We roll with the punches. This is going, might not be safe to walk over there. I'm just gonna get over. Sorry guys. Just gonna get on the other side because that bank, that's newer. That was like in the last 15 minutes. All right, this is new. 30 minutes ago. Started leaning. I'm gonna try and get it back just a little bit. Okay, so you can kind of see that tree ripped because there was another tree and it fell off, went to the river. This is gonna go tonight. That's gonna go any minute. All those trees down. So when this is all over, you know, part of our agroforestry farm is really just trying to put our farm back together. We are going to lose 1 or 2 buildings, and that's a whole nother story, but we're going to have to clear this whole side to make this trail over here. Where I'm standing right here, just as a side note, I can feel the ground shake from the rocks and the debris in the river banging against the side. It's vibrating all the way. And I wish I could get like a better mic or something so you can hear. Excuse me. This is a deck that we put a table and chairs for barbecue and hanging out. And then right here, that circle, that was a fire pit 2 days ago. So what my wife and I, we were talking about is what I think is going to happen. The trees are going to start falling overnight, especially as the river increases, and it's just going to send water just right in there. And just a lot. It's like every time we come out here, we don't really know what to expect. And you know, the engineer at the Army Corps at the dam said in a Monday meeting, watch Puyallup, because as soon as Puyallup crests, that's when we get flooded. So obviously there's more interest in saving Puyallup and Sumner than a little rural town like Enumclaw, and Buckley, right? Like, you know, everything along the river. But right now Auburn is just getting totally just beat up, and Puyallup is getting beat up, Sumner. And those people down there, they're not prepared for flooding. At least we're more prepared. We expected the power to be out. We expected the rain to just create havoc. You know, obviously we're on a 30-acre forested farm, so we expected a lot of damage. And tomorrow, I don't know if anybody knows, but tomorrow there's supposed to be another storm happening. So once that starts happening, then other parts of the farm start filling up in the divots, and a lot of really nerve-wracking stuff. We actually had right here, we had a measuring tool that we would use to measure the river year-round, and it's gone. It got washed away. It went in the ground 2 feet, and it's gone. So really scary. The farther down I go, the louder it gets, because it gets a little bit shallow here, so the things just like bang against the bottom. Right there. That's gonna fall in tonight. Really, I want to go back and show the other perspective, but I'm so nervous to walk there, and I'm never nervous. I never am, and it's just a lot right here. Does anybody have any questions? I'd love to hear from anybody. I don't want to, so if people are wondering about just like living on the river or specifically the flood. See, I'm like not paying attention, and I'm walking way too close to that. So scary. So scary. All right, I'm gonna walk this way, and I'm going to try and hurry so I can get to the other side and show Red Creek. This tree, that's the biggest, one of the biggest trees on our farm, and that is gonna go. It's really, really sad. Sorry, I'm just gonna run so I don't have to be on this side. I'm almost there. So right now the dam is releasing over 10,000 CFS, which matters for people along the river. Okay, I'm in a safer area for just a moment. And then this, I don't know if anybody's seen this yet, but this huge tree, this ripped yesterday, and I didn't see it until I drove my quad right over that, and I looked up and saw this tree falling into the river. So this should go anytime, honestly. Like when the rain comes, it'll go. It'll get really, really heavy. Right now, I'm just gonna run over this just to get out of here real quick. Okay. Right now, there's a neighbor down the way, and there's a levee built on all these properties along Red Creek, and White River is sending such releases that it's breaching what they call the weir. And so if that breaks through, then our property would flood by our home. And so thankfully our home's on a like over 4-foot foundation, but still we've evacuated our animals, evacuated our kiddos, and I don't know if you guys can hear this. There's like, it's so loud. There's debris and rocks rolling on the bottom. It is crazy. So right here where we're at is Red Creek, and all this is usually a beach. Like we have picnic tables and fire pit, and we usually hang out there. Okay. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm just seeing the chat now. It was covered up. Okay, I'm gonna go back and answer. Are you okay? Yes, we're okay. We're tired. We're really, really tired. Is that from Washington flood? Yes, it's in Enumclaw, Washington, in King County, but this is Pierce County. So we're standing on the King County. That's Pierce County. What River? The White River and Red Creek, 2 miles from Mud Mountain Dam, which is a big deal. So if you can, you know the area. So they're releasing more water from the dam. Yes, Sherry, they're releasing it. So I don't know if you talked to your granddaughter about this, but there's an app through King County. You download the app and you can do the flood. It's called the Flood Watch or something, or Flood something. But it updates. But I spoke to the engineer on Monday night or Tuesday. We had a couple different meetings, and he was like, "Yeah, it's not always updated." And then later on, they're like, "We'll check the app because that's when we update it." But if it's the difference between 3 hours, like that's a huge difference. It's the difference between us literally grabbing things and evacuating if something happens, like for example if the dam breaks, right? Or like if they can't contain it and they have to do a huge release, that it having a 1 to 3 hour delay is fine for Puyallup or Sumner, but not for people living 2 miles from the dam. So the app I use to measure, but then it's usually within like 1,000 CFS. So right now this is 10,000. This is over 10,000. I think it's closer to. It's getting high. Some of our markers washed away, but I'm like, my wife and I were like, I think it's a little bit higher right now. So, and then I want to answer, how many trees do you think have already fallen in your land? Well, on the bank, 4 have fallen into the river overnight, and today. But we have trees fall all the time. We have 30 acres of trees, but we've done selective thinning, so we've thinned more than a couple thousand. And so, but a lot of the trees that we have are healthy. But like different kinds of trees matter. So like these are alders. Those like fall like paper. In a windstorm, you hear them smack all the time. But these bigger trees here, we have like fir, spruce, cedar. Oh, you guys, a crane. Oh my God, I love him. Sorry, I'm a nutball for that. He landed on one of the buildings that is going into the river right now. I was like, oh, that's so sad. So exactly, water can just take over any time at once. Yeah. It's like, we don't know. I mean, we've lived here going on 4 years, but we've had a lot of people, the owners, the sellers, they filled us in on a ton of flood history. So we felt really confident because after building the levee in the 80s, they really managed it. And so this is very unique. This beats the record. Actually, it's like within 900 CFS of the 2009 flood right now. And then before that, the last recorded flood was 1996 or something. So if that gives you context of like, this is definitely the first flood in 16 years. Alright, I want to make sure my live isn't frozen. If anyone's on here, can you just drop something in the chat so I can make sure it's working? Oh, okay. On the news here in California, they say that this is the biggest flood ever for that area, like 100-year flood or something like that. Yeah, no, like the news is just like fear-mongering right now. I'm just responding to that comment that Sherry said about the news saying this is the biggest flood ever. I think they're fear-mongering because the record alone show that there's been bigger floods, like 4 major floods since 1986 in this area. Maybe it's leaving a lot of long-standing damage, especially down in the cities. But for this area, there's a big flood like once every 10 years or so, but it gets better and better with the dam, with them improving the dam and with the levees that they have in place. So like the property hasn't flooded since 1986 to like cause tons of damage. This right here, this is, you know, obviously a flood, but the land is meant to catch this. And you have these like ridges, and we don't want to grade that. We want to leave that so it naturally can catch it. And then on the ridge, there's all these trees here, and that's what holds the bank in. And that's so important. That's why I'm like really surprised we're about to lose about 10 trees. I mean, we lose a couple a year, but not like in one go. But the rain is coming tomorrow in King County. So that is where we're not through this yet. And we have to be really, really careful and make sure we're still checking on neighbors. Yeah, Sherry, I don't know how I'm sleeping either. I'm having a lot of nightmares. I'm waking up thinking about my animals being swept away, and just like kind of, and then like we're sleeping and we hear these like big booms and like rattles. It almost sounds like a bomb, and I jump. The other night I like fully jumped and fell off my bed because it was so scary. We're not sleeping. We're drinking the most caffeine we've drank, but you know, you build some hardiness out here, and so we're hardy for sure, but there's things that definitely shake our nerve, and we're building that backbone right now. There's people that have lived here for 40 years, and like my neighbors, I went over and I'm like, how is you know, we kind of game plan, and they said, well, if the dam goes, just pop a bottle of champagne and it'll be one for the books, and you know, we'll float by with our horses and say hello. Like, that's their mentality, that they're like, hey, there's nothing we can do. Take it as it comes. There's a little bit of nerves and panic there, but it's just that acceptance. I agree. All they show us is flooded out areas in Washington and people be evacuated. Yeah, so the helicopters today have been so loud. They're scaring some of my chickens that are still on the property, and just like flying like right directly down the river. And it's just, the news are actually, so Como 4 was supposed to come out to the farm on Tuesday, but they called twice and they had to reroute. And then there's a mudslide in Enumclaw, like 5 minutes from us. Like, actually, there's this little mountain. It's on that side of the mountain, like 5 minutes down the road. So they rerouted to that. So they didn't end up coming, but that's totally fine. I thought they could get some good shots of the land. Sometimes the videos like do not do it justice of how beautiful it is. So Sherry, I was going to ask you, my wife and I, we were talking about your granddaughter in Buckley. I know it's the internet, so I don't want to like ask too many revealing questions, but you were always welcome to like reach out to me. I'm on Google, The Secret Land. You can find my number and send me a text, and you know, if they need anything or whatever, we're here, and we're always gonna help if we can. And so you know, if power goes out or future storms, you never know. And how old is your granddaughter? Are they like, or are they going to school in White River? Like, that's the district in Buckley. So I'm curious. And just again, for anyone who is here and didn't hear me say this is White River. We're in Enumclaw on the King County side, and this is the Buckley side, and that's Pierce County right there. For people who own parcels on the river, a lot of times they'll have two parcels on each side because the river can shift and move through the land. So that's what scares me. And you had to say it about the dam breaking. I know it's not going to happen. It really won't happen. I know, I'm laughing, but they're doing so much work, and like, yeah. And I hear some things of, oh, you know, so and so was working up at the dam, and it's like if that ever happened, it would flood Puyallup, and Puyallup makes like tens of millions of dollars for the state. So they're going to do everything they can to protect Puyallup. And Puyallup, for what you don't know, is Puyallup goes into Tacoma. Tacoma is huge for exports, and helps like the state going. You know, it catches a lot from Seattle and stuff. So like you have to think like it would literally be so catastrophic that yeah, I mean, the dam is very old. I think it was built in like, I think it was started in like 36 or something, somewhere in the 30s, and then it got completed in the late 40s. One of the storms that happened actually washed up an old shovel, and I was like, this is so old. This is like older than the 60s. I used AI, and it said that it was from the 30s, and so we think it's one of the shovels from when the dam was made, which is wild. So we have that in our garage. But yeah, it's one of those things, like living by a dam, you know, you have to live with it, but it's just like being in California. You got to live with the earthquakes, right? Like I panic when I think about earthquakes. Like I don't know how California people do it. So is there a way I reach out to you? Yeah. So on Google Maps, our farm is called the Secret Land Farm, or the Secret Land in Enumclaw. You just type that into Google. You can, my phone number is there, so you can reach me there, and then your granddaughter can always get a hold of me or email me or text me. Your granddaughter's 35. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, so I'm 32, my son's 12. So, yeah, very similar. I bet you they've actually, if your great-grandson is in any sports, I bet you my son and your great-grandson has probably played against each other. Because White River and Enumclaw, they're a huge rival, so it's kind of funny. He's in the middle school. Yeah, I think, is it Thunder Mountain or something? I think it's Thunder Mountain. I think so, but yeah, I'm kind of thinking when I come out tomorrow, the bank is going to be gone. It's going to be so sad. Let's see. I'm listening because I just heard something off down the trail, so I'm wondering what that is. There's still elk and coyote and bears out here, so even though, and that's another unnerving part, is the river is so loud, anything can walk up on you. And I don't have my dog out. Usually I have my German Shepherd, but I'm like so nervous with her around that. So yeah, I'm gonna walk down to the Red Creek side. Let's see. Yes. I think tonight might get a little bit. No, tonight they're going to do a release, but tomorrow, after the rain, is when it's going to be really scary. We're sure. I'm just walking through the trail. Sorry, it's getting really, really dark, and I don't have a headlamp. Yes, 1936. Thank you for checking. I've read up a lot about the dam and the river when we bought the property. Like, I wanted to know everything. Oh, and for context, Sherry, this is you could see like the lights on the house there. That is where my house is, and then the river is right there. We're closer to the creek, so if upstream the river busted into the creek, then it would flood everything. It would overtake our land. But there's a levee that was built in the late 80s. The owners of like 4 parcels on Red Creek pulled together $500,000, which is a lot in the 80s, and built this levee, and that has kept us safe and dry. And there's a big dike on the end of the island that they built to keep things back too. So yeah, Oh, you're so sweet. Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. When you fly up to visit your grandkids, come out here, because I say that all the time to my wife. I'm like, I feel like I just wish I had a grandma to come out and just walk around and weed and do all the little things, and so I could ask questions. I feel like I never know enough. I'm always checking my phone. My grandparents passed before I was born. And so, yeah, and my dad has passed, and my mom, she is bedbound. And so, it's always nice to have older generation around, because y'all know way more than we do, even though we have phones. Yeah, they just moved there in August. Oh yeah, there is such a good sports. Washington is known for their sports, so you got to put them in. And yeah, we got to link up. The boys can come over and play with my son. He would love to. He's a true middle school boy, so love to have people come over on the farm. We don't have a ton of children come to our farm because we're mainly couples, but we do parent trips, like solo trips, and then we have one family spot. But all of our farm guests end up being like our really close friends, and they have kids, so they come and bring their kids to the farm, and then we usually have like big parties. What we love to do, because we obviously live on the river, we'll like go out and go night fishing, and then we'll go play hide and seek in the forest, which sounds really terrifying. And so we do a buddy system. We don't let anybody hide alone. And we usually have walkie-talkies, but yeah, and we're growing, we're getting bigger, but things like this really, like, we're gonna be closed for the month of December, so that's really hard, because my wife and I are full-time. We don't have any other source of income. So right now we're talking about opening up our farm stand to welcome guests, because that farm stand, we have over 150 animals, so keeping open and keeping that momentum really helps us. Yeah, so a lot. I think things are a little bit behind on my end. I see on comments a little bit later. Yeah, it is starting to get dark. Yeah, I will head back, and you can see we have like lights on the trail. This is our little beach cabin. We put like life jackets and tubies in, and then we even have a solar panel. We can like charge our phones when we're out swimming. So awesome. Well, thank you, Sherry, for coming on. And now you have a way to reach me. And if your granddaughter, you can always like just text me her name, or whatever, and if she ever needs anything or wants to come out to the farm. I think we're going to be opening up our farm stand, so people can come on and see our farm. We're usually closed to the public. It's by timed reservation ticket only, so it's not like a traditional open farm stand. So it's really dark, but the creek is right over there. You can hear it. And then our lights for our house are right there. So the creek is probably about 30 feet. See, that's the creek right there. And yes. All right. Well, you have a good night. And I think I'll probably be on tomorrow and update around 11, I'd say. I'm going to head up and go feed our horse at the neighbors. We have a little mini horse, 7-month-old. So missing her like crazy. You have a great night, okay? I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.